evening. It's Monday, June 27th, 2022. Welcome back to BoomerRexTonight, your nearly daily source for news and politics. I'm RisenLadyHeathen. Hey, asshole. What's up, it's our show from other Millennial news podcasts.
I don't know what.
We have a Boomer, and not just any Boomer. We have Mr. BoomerRex himself.
Kind of like being a caged animal.
You too eat, sleep, and breathe politics.
Only people want to see animals in cages. Nobody's paying to see old people.
Apparently that's true.
I'm learning that's 3 unique perspectives we share along with the facts from our literal round table. Tonight, it's just the news.
Lame.
Oh, that's right. It's Monday. It's going to be a nice short show.
So let's dig right into our headlines. Good smells. What's going on here?
All right, what's this?
This is one of the, again, I try to bring you stuff that I stumble across that I look at and go, that's an interesting piece of work, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, hold on.
So people with similar body odors are more
it's not
likely to click and become instant friends,
Yes.
according to several experiments.
Yeah.
When we first meet other people, we sometimes experience an immediate strong click that makes us feel as if we have been good friends for years. Anyway, she wondered if it might have something to do with body odor. Oh, yeah. Because previous research found that we subconsciously sniff each other on meeting, for example, by lifting our hand to our nose. I've never done that, and if anybody I had ever shaken hands with had lifted...
Human beings touch their face 1,000 times a day.
Yeah, but I would have been pretty... Anyway.
If it's subconscious, I could see, like, maybe...
Yeah,
while you're in the conversation
it's the course
with
of something
somebody,
else.
because some people talk
that's possible.
with their
again,
hands.
But...
So when you're talking with your hands and you're doing like this thing, you could subconsciously bring your hand pretty close to your face.
Yep.
But again, we have a 3-foot cloud of stink around us at all times, So
Rafferty and her colleagues recruited 20 pairs of same-sex, non-romantic friends, half female and half male, who had reported that they clicked immediately when they met. So an electronic nose, right, a device that, senses the chemical components of odors, was used to sniff T-shirts that each had worn, and discovered that the nose said the body odor was more similar between friend pairs than between the non-friend pairs they got by just remixing the pile of people. Right. So anyway, a group of 25 independent adults who also sniffed the participants' T-shirts also reported that the friend pairs smelled more alike than random pairs did. Interesting. So anyway,
makes sense. Your friends are cousin level related. Usually.
that was my assumption. Is what we were smelling was a familial smell.
Yeah, which we've seen at least anecdotally in our tribe amongst with animals.
Yeah.
Right, they were very much from somebody else, but were comfortable around everyone related to them.
Yeah.
Because you all smell enough.
Yeah, exactly. Like when the old doc showed up in our backyard unannounced and was trying to get into the back door of the house when the Doberman showed up. And he thought, oh, shit, I've done it now. And the Doberman goes, oh, your family.
Yeah. I was thinking you and Fizzgig, but yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I know. It must have been awful to have it land on your nose.
Assault?
Well, that's what I just did. I assaulted the dog by dropping a lighter on his nose.
Oh, that's fine.
One with a little silver case. So it wasn't just a...
No, he likes it. The abuse makes him happy. He wags his tail harder.
I'm gonna move my chair away from Risen, since obviously she's having a weird day.
Yeah, so...
What? You can't tell me that you don't pat him on his side harder than you probably should, and it doesn't get him more excited and happier.
Yeah.
Definitely does.
So I would argue that's not harder than you should.
Yeah.
No,
When you pet too hard, he'll let you know. He'll move away. So, damn, that hurt, asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, assault. Tell us about this.
So I have seen the video of the in quote marks, assault
Oh, I
on
know.
Rudy Giuliani.
Stupid.
So I'm going to walk through what Rudy Giuliani told Bannon last night.
Oh God.
He says, I'm okay. I'm in pain. I can't even keep his stories straight. The guy knocked me forward 2 or 3 steps. No, your feet never moved.
Saw the video, bro.
Right.
This is why eyewitnesses are for
No,
shit.
no,
Yeah.
here's the thing. His body didn't even move. You watched the
His
video.
body moved slightly. It moved
I
about
didn't
as much
see
as
that.
you'd expect if a friend of yours walked by and slapped you on the back.
Yeah, he moved nearly as much when the lady next to him was rubbing the spot.
Yeah.
So,
So anyway, and then he started yelling at me that I'm a woman killer. Well, you are, right? You've been part of the Republican Party, and they're going to kill a bunch of women in the next 12 months. As the guy knocked me forward 2 or 3 steps, luckily I didn't fall. And, you know, these people can't keep doing this. I mean, I'm 78 or 79. I don't even remember. Suggested he could have died. Yeah,
Well, I can only
you
hope.
know, yeah,
my prayers don't come out that often.
I know. Again,
You could die tomorrow, and I wouldn't even
so
take the time
what
to
you
piss
have-
on your grave.
is an incredibly irrelevant jerk who was very briefly someone who is horrified, I tell you, that his person was violated, and he's so fragile he has to whine about it.
Where are those pearls?
So the simple fact is, they're violent and basically we're not, says the man who helped sell the 2020 the big lie, which resulted in an armed insurrection against the government of the United States on the 6th of January,
106
and an
injured
attempted
officers.
coup, which began before that
Yep.
and continued after it.
Oh, and sold NYPD junk radios and fucked your cousin and Giuliani, you're a scumbag, and we all hope you die in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Insane
Well, and he's so
and in
desperate to
pain.
be
And
relevant,
alone.
Yeah.
right? He's so sad.
To the dude that like whatever to him and like
Gently touched
Yeah.
his back.
loved you, Ninja Warrior. You're the best. You're my wicked favorite. Everyone
So
learn from
anyway,
this not to
yeah.
touch the people you're gonna hassle.
His charges have been downgraded to misdemeanors, and I wouldn't be surprised if they
Yeah.
were ultimately dismissed.
I have little faith in this, but I hope. Gonna keep an
yeah.
eye on this.
So one thing I do want to say is we were telling viewers or listeners and viewers, those of you who watch us on YouTube, that, you know, feel free whenever you see these people, you know, whether they're court justices, senators, governors, whatever, out in public, to call them out for, you know, call them names or whatever. But again, in the most polite term ever, in the most polite way ever, don't touch people.
Right.
Don't touch people. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, that is something that is inappropriate. There's no
Yeah.
excuse to ever touch people or enter their personal space.
Meh.
You can,
It's illegal. Don't do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can, from a foot or two away, be like, you're a piece of shit. Don't threaten them, don't whatever.
Yep.
Call them whatever name you want and walk away. Don't stand there and talk with them. Walk away.
And you can't
Just make it
spit
a
on them
passing
or on their
thing.
food
Yeah.
or
No,
anything.
no, don't do anything.
But if they're gonna
like
make
that.
people afraid in their bedrooms, you have every right to make them afraid in the street.
And in their favorite restaurant.
Yeah.
And if enough people randomly walk by them and say, "Oh, you're that piece of shit," then you just keep walking like it was nothing. If enough people do that, that's going to cause these people to be scared and concerned without actually threatening them in any manner. So let's keep that in mind. The more casual you are about it, the harder it'll hit them. And what are they gonna do? Be like, "Oh, this person walked by me and casually told me to go fuck myself. It was really strange."
Yep.
Like,
And if 20 people a day do that, oh well, right? Maybe you shouldn't have been a shithead.
so just keep that in mind. Don't fucking touch people. Don't spit on people. Don't fucking enter their personal space. Just fucking say it and keep walking.
And you might want to have a friend videotape it.
Yep.
Oh
If
yeah,
their security,
post it
if their
online.
security forces hit you, you can press charges.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you do have somebody report it, feel free to send it to us. We will share it on our Facebook.
Absolutely.
So we will make sure to get the word out there. So
Or
please.
feel free to use the ACLU's app, so it's uploaded to.
We'll
a
use
cloud.
that too. Yeah. Arizona has one.
Everyone's got one or near.
No, they didn't have one when I lived in New Hampshire, so I used the Arizona one.
Yeah.
Because it made sense.
Yeah.
But just remember which state you're mailing stuff to.
That was why I did it that way, because you were the one that had suggested it to me, and you were in Arizona, so it made sense when there wasn't one locally. So anyway, Uvalde mom being harassed.
So you remember Angele Rose Gomez?
Yep.
Yeah,
She showed up at the school and said, "I'm going to go in and get my kids." And they said, "No, you can't do that." So she went down a little ways, climbed the fence, went in and rescued her kids.
And got a whole classroom of kids extracted.
Yep.
Because of her actions.
So anyway, since then, she says she's been regularly harassed by local police officers. They're doing things like, parking and shining their lights on her and her sons while they're exercising and so forth and so on. They come and sit in front of the house and so on.
This should be illegal as fuck. How are they allowed to get away with this?
Roads.
No, but this is obviously harassment. I couldn't do that and not get in trouble. How can they?
Yeah,
Get the hell out of it,
Damn.
and when something starts to happen, bring that in.
Yeah.
In addition.
But and that's what they're banking on, right? This playbook the police have developed for this, if they're not going to go directly to direct action and murder you, it's based on the fact that it used to be hard to document this shit.
Set up video cameras outside your house.
No,
inside your house.
Your ass a real security system. Like you need to start taking some serious precautions.
Anyway, she continues protesting against the police for their response, for their utter lack of response, for their cowardice.
Oh yeah, aggressively.
That left 21 people dead, including 19 children. So anyway, I'm sure they think of her as being a focus of the protests, and if they could only intimidate her and so forth.
If she would just
Get lots of video evidence, get your neighbors to look and record the times when they were out there.
Oh, have your neighbors
And when the
report it
time
happening
comes,
too.
File suit against them.
Oh yeah.
Talk to the ACLU. They might be willing to help.
Oh, I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would have somebody help her for no cost.
Yeah.
100%, or a percentage of whatever
the settlement is. Yeah.
So they can help more people. But again, this is all good. It's not good that the police are harassing her, but if she does it the right way, and she
might be able to
keep
make a
her
difference.
nose clean, and the cops don't try to plant some shit on her, which is not beyond cops. Let's keep this in mind. If she can watch her P's and Q's, then I think she'll be okay.
Yep.
And she might even be able to change something here, right? Because this is something we know that the cops like to do, intimidate.
Sounds like we've got a fair herd of cops in Uvalde who need to be put off the force.
Oh, God.
So, anyway.
All right. Did you want to talk about that more? Do you have more?
No.
Okay. So let's move on to DeSantis humiliates Trump. How is he doing this?
So, no, this is an interesting... Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has plenty of advantages ahead of his November reelection. First and foremost, he's got $100 million in the bank, which is much more than he's ever had before.
Yep.
Clearly, the Republican Party, heavy money people are supporting DeSantis, at least some of them. He's got a growing statewide Republican voter advantage. He has massive popularity with the conservative base. And what DeSantis doesn't need and isn't requesting is Donald Trump's endorsement.
Yep.
Because Donald Trump is irrelevant.
Agreed. But the odds that one of them or both of them will figure out, the first one to promise to pardon the January 6ers gets the MAGA kids.
Yep. So anyway, the assessment from Politico is it's an intentional humiliation of a man who hates humiliation, right? And Trump's ego is as fragile as a robin's egg. Always has been. And if you humiliate Trump, he just goes frantic.
Yeah.
So
he'll have to hit back or do something.
Yep. Points out the Politico story was expertly timed to come out right after a recent poll showed DeSantis in a tie with the former president as the popular choice of
That's
Republicans.
The part I found interesting.
I thought that was interesting too. It's the kind of tie that happens when a rising balloon passes a falling cinder block. Briefly.
One can only hope, but
yeah.
it's not like DeSantis is better, right? There's a lot of ways that can go frighteningly worse.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not.
And if they deliver him a coup, he's not gonna say no.
Oh, anyway, so Trump is searching for words to put a nickname on him, Reckless Ron or whatever. DeSantis has christened Trump Irrelevant Donald. So, which
The
is,
alliteration doesn't work well, but yeah.
I know, I couldn't come up with a deadbeat Donald.
I think you call him doddering.
Doddering
And
Donald.
you just
yeah.
use that ramp video.
Yeah.
Set it to like whatever his WWE entry music was.
Oh, there you go.
Like, there's some ways to make this rude.
Yeah.
No, and Trump should call him Deadly DeSantis. Don't be dumb. And harp up how hard they things and the da. And Trump delivered that beautiful vaccine, and
Yeah.
but the MAGA kids hate the vaccine, so I don't know if that's a alley he
I don't
wants to
think
run
that's a
down.
winning.
No, I think he backed away from that too quickly when they were starting to turn on it.
Yeah.
I think he should have kept pushing it early on.
I think
so that
they'll
it didn't get out of
understand.
hand like it did.
I think they'll see it as political either way, and right, if he says other things they like, right, they seem to be able to hear something that is not contained in the words that are spoken aloud. If they're hearing like thoughts and some sort of structure.
I don't
So,
think
Yep.
they are. I think they just put in their own head
uh-huh.
by picking out key words and say, this is what he's
Which
talking
means he can
about.
call it a beautiful vaccine if he's also promised to pardon the Sixers and whatever the other thing is. Reinstate, don't ask, don't tell. I don't
think
know
even
where
if
they'll
he
want someone
promises to
kicked.
do it, I don't think he will. He's too lazy.
That doesn't much matter. They didn't care he didn't get much done in the first term, but it was rude enough to the right people.
All right. Who is considered a hate group?
Well,
Yeah.
according to Clarence Thomas,
No
the
one should.
Coral Ridge Christian Ministry should not be lumped with, the Klan and the neo-Nazis, despite the fact that they have claimed homosexuals say yes to pedophilia, and then they wear the little idiot T-shirts that say "kill all the pedophiles" and
Yeah.
so forth. And so on.
That's the point.
Yep, and has promoted anti-LGBTQ lies. Southern Poverty Law Center says they're a hate group.
Yeah.
And I've looked at how they decide to do that.
I haven't
and
seen a
this is
group I
hate
thought
group.
shouldn't be on there.
That's right. So anyway, is they put them on a hate map and caused Coral Ridge concrete financial injury by excluding it from the Amazon Smile donation program. Oh, shucks. Maybe you shouldn't be fucking perfect assholes in fucking public.
Man.
Maybe you should try being something other than a hate group. Fuck you.
Huh?
And fuck Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
Always that.
No.
Yeah.
Clarence Thomas needs to fucking go. This is ridiculous.
Yep.
Stolen wheat.
Yes.
So anyway, it turns out there's mounting evidence that Russian forces that have occupied the Ukraine are stealing Ukrainian wheat. And one of the ways we know that is they also stole the farm equipment, some of which had GPS trackers on it.
Huh.
And so we can see them moving it to grain storage places and so forth. And we can see them moving at least some of it on into Russia and so forth and so on.
These
What they're
idiots.
doing is they're taking it and they're mixing it with Russian grain and claiming it's all Russian grain. And we should probably do some DNA testing on the grain, and if it's got Ukrainian grain in
Any
it,
Ukrainian grain in
yeah,
it.
Yeah, now it's all the Ukrainians.
we should make them. Yeah.
That's where I was headed. This is the reason I would use
And they
to
put
start
it on
boarding
boats,
vessels.
and I'm sure the boats turn
Yep.
off their AIS, and they should be seized as terrorist operations.
Yeah. I mean, we've
Then we
taken
can sell the wheat to whoever.
Yeah.
we've taken other of
And
their
scuttle the
ships
boat.
for less, so
Yep.
yeah, I'm all about it. Fuck
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I agree with the whole. Just take the whole batch. I think that's better. Like, oh, you wanted to try to hide it in with your grain? Guess what? It's
I
all
would
over.
only do the testing.
Same thing we do with conflict diamonds.
I would only do the testing on ships that have their locators on.
So we know where they came from.
That the other's an acknowledgement of criminal activity, and fuck you right there.
Yeah, don't even have to check.
Yeah.
Bitch, you're a criminal. You're a pirate. I don't know what you are. It's gonna take a while to find out.
Show up, seize the boat, sell the
Yeah.
grain, scuttle the boat.
I just love that they use the tractors that they stole and don't know how to shut off the GPS.
I don't
Like,
think I
what?
would scuttle the ship. There's
Some of those tractors they can't make run.
Mm-hmm. Which is weird to be on the side of John Deere, who's an evil, evil company. I'm glad you got your guy killed, but
Yep.
this
It turned
one
out
time, I'm kind of okay that you had a kill switch. By the way, there's kill switches in tractors. If you have a car with OnStar on it, whether it's activated or not, your car has a kill switch.
Yep, that they can address whether
Yeah.
your OnStar is activated or not. Gotta love it.
All right. Truth Social?
So, a federal grand jury in New York issued subpoenas for board members of the Special Purpose Acquisition Company, that's a SPAC,
Which shouldn't
that
exist.
plans to take President Donald Trump's social media site, Truth Social, public. Shares for that company have fallen more than 9% in pre-market trading after the subpoenas were revealed. They've also requested, they've re-requested some information that the Digital World Acquisition Corp did not provide so far. And the subpoenas seek some of the same documents that the SEC asked for in its investigation, as well as requests related to communications with several individuals and information regarding venture capital and private equity company Rocket One Capital. What they're concerned about is that there is the appearance that they contacted Trump before the company went public, and that would have been a violation of the laws that govern the SPAC. But anyway, and big shock. God, some more suspected criminality? Oh my God,
No.
say it ain't so.
Right.
On the day that Credit Suisse was convicted for laundering cocaine money
Oh, good.
out of Bulgaria?
Oh.
Everyone's hoping it's a new hard line they're taking with. So, but no.
Hope so.
All right. Bad smell.
This one caught my eye. An American Eagle flight stopped on the taxiway at Charlotte Douglas International Airport, and airline officials unloaded the passengers and sent them on a different plane because of an odd smell in the aircraft. Interesting, and maybe not a dumb idea, given the antics of the idiot Wright.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Took them back to the terminal where they're expected to board another aircraft for their flights to Melbourne, Florida. Anyway, we'll follow that and see if we learn anything.
Oh, that's weird. All right.
Well, but again, it's yeah, if you smell an odd smell someplace you are, you should probably go somewhere else.
Oh, agreed. No,
Right?
for sure. Yeah. BoomerRex is about damn time. Tell me the good news.
So a Florida man described by the FBI as the de facto leader of the U.S. Capitol riot mob for his violent attacks on police has pleaded to multiple felony charges in connection with the January 6th attacks. Mitchell Todd Gardner II, 34, of Seffner, Florida, signed a plea agreement with a sentencing range from 46 to 57 months and fines from $20,000 to $200,000. So anyway, he sprayed them with their own, with the pepper spray dispenser that the cops use. So I think the 4 to 5 years kind of range is not completely wrong. But anyway, he's now signed up with a range of penalties that will put him in prison for a while. So, hey, and if they impose the biggest of the fines, it's going to be a big one. Couple of $100,000.
Good. That's the least he could do for the damage that he did.
Yep. So anyway, he was part of the mob outside the Lower West Terrace. He was one of the ones yelling, drag them out, pull the cops out, and used a police pepper spray device against the officers within the tunnel area.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Dumbass of the day.
Gotta love it.
Maybe.
So they took John Eastman's phone away from him
Yes.
outside a restaurant today. About the same time that they were waking up various other GOP leaders to have their stuff seized.
I should have flashbanged him and shot the dog, but
Yeah, former Trump elector from Georgia, former Arizona Trump campaign staffer. Anyway, pretty cool. They made him unlock the phone, and they took the phone.
Good.
So, anyway, Eastman complains that agents forced him to unlock his
I
phone.
wish they had forced him.
Yeah. Is he still? Can he still wiggle his fingers? They didn't force him.
Just bash his
Um,
phone into his face twice and go, well, I guess your face thing's not working. You want to try the pin for me? You want to keep trying with the face games?
Right.
Anyway, seizure warrant document included in Eastman's filing noted that the electronic devices were to be sent to Washington, D.C. or the Justice Department Inspector General's Forensic Lab in Northern Virginia. Hey, guys, this is how they treat criminals. When you do something criminal, this is how you can expect to be treated. And if that doesn't agree with your privileged, white, nonsense view of yourself, tough fucking luck. Go whine somewhere else.
Just true.
Yeah, no, I
love
mean, it's ridiculous that these people, they are above the law, like, I get it, but they're not supposed to be. And the fact that they just so brazenly say it out loud, like, I'm above such things. Like, whoa, dude.
As someone said, there used to be a law for the rich and a law for the poor. Now, there is a law for the poor, and there's no law for the rich at all. They can do whatever they want.
Oh, yeah, no, they get away with it every fucking time. Fuck them.
Hey, DOJ, you might want to change that perception. You might want to make fucking examples out of some rich assholes.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway,
All right.
don't let them bargain it down. If they're rich and have a passport and so on, declare them a flight risk.
If they're rich, I would make the assumption and argue it in court that they almost certainly have multiple passports. I have no way of telling that information.
That's right. So go ahead and
The
surrender one,
presumption
but you're
should
still
be
going to
they
sit in
ha-
that cell. Yeah.
Yeah. And they are absolutely a flight risk, right? That
Yeah.
they have more money, they have had access to more money than most people have ever held in their hands at any one time. They could easily bribe nearly anyone. Whitey Bulger bribed FBI agents with almost nothing.
Yeah. So anyway, it's good to know they've got the phone. I hope he was dumb enough to continue to use the same phone or fail to wipe it was an iPhone, I believe. So if it was, yes, an iPhone 12. So he may have a problem with his cloud
I
storage.
don't know why. Why would you do crimes on an iPhone? Don't do crimes on phones. Jesus, internet.
Don't do crime, Peter.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe he
that's
used
what I meant to say. I had something in my eye.
Maybe
making
he
me
used a
stupid.
burner phone when he was pushing his coup attempt. Who
I
knows?
I find it in fucking sane and infuriating that the Capitol building doesn't run its own cell tower and force everything on the property through
To
it.
go through that. Yep. I totally agree.
And record everything, because fuck you. You have the least privacy in this goddamn building.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no, I think that's a good idea. All right. Updates with BoomerRex health threats.
So tonight I have a I suppose it could be a health threat. If you're not getting your influenza vaccine, you're making a terrible mistake, because folks who received at least one influenza vaccine were 40% less likely than their non-vaccinated peers to develop Alzheimer's disease over the course of 4 years.
Huh.
That's a huge fucking change.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough. I'm probably going to start getting flu vaccines.
Well, I got one before I came here, so I could use an update for
Yep.
sure.
So anyway, it's a new study
I
from
didn't like it.
It's a new study from the University of Texas at Houston. They say there's evidence. They don't think there's anything special about the flu vaccine. They're saying there's several vaccines that may protect from Alzheimer's disease. We know there are diseases that make Alzheimer's worse.
Yeah.
And so, the real question is, what are they doing to the immune system, right? That they have an effect. We know, flu shots are intended to, right? And then diseases also have an effect on the immune system. So, anyway,
Intriguing.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Climate weirding.
So, first, some good news.
Yeah.
A group of biologists in Germany have demonstrated a potentially groundbreaking solution. If you've got clean electric power, right? One of the ways that you could store it to be used elsewhere, or store it until like the sunshine is not coming anymore, is in a battery. And so what they're looking at is a biological battery that would convert hydrogen and some quantity of CO2 into formic acid. And so they tested this by exposing it to 8 hours of electricity and then resting it for 16 hours, during which it re-evolved the hydrogen. And that was stable for several cycles. Now, I mean, to be useful as a battery, you need thousands and thousands and thousands of cycles. But it's an interesting idea, and perhaps their research will spur others to look at biologically based batteries that might be useful in the electrical system. Again, my guess is that the energy densities are so low, it's not going to replace gasoline, right? You'd have to have a big tank of this blah. Right? So anyway, we'll see. But for a fixed installation, if it's as simple as a tank with a bunch of stuff in it, hey guys, all over the country, right, we had tanks for heating oil and so forth that were hundreds of gallons, right? They were not idiotically expensive, and they lasted for goddamn ever. So anyway, an interesting idea. And so, maybe down even to the household level. Because remember, one of the big things you can do to help with sustainable energy is you need to move your consumption out of that evening period when there's no sun, or you need to store away energy from, afternoon when there's lots of renewable energy, and then use it in the early evening, which is when the loads peak. So, but that's one of the reasons we still have fossil fuel generators, is that once the sun goes down and the winds slow down and so forth, which they typically do, you've got to have electricity. People are running their air conditioners. They're cooking dinner, they're washing clothes, right? And that's all happening after the sun goes down. So, again, an interesting idea. And then the next one was, I don't have the next one. So, the next one was the summary of just how bad the Pacific Northwest's heat dome was.
How bad is it?
There were a series of 3 days where each consecutive day didn't just break the all-time record, it smashed it by 10 degrees. And that was 3 days in a row.
Arr.
In an area where I owned a house, south of Seattle, and it did not have an air conditioner.
I grew up in a house south of Seattle.
Yeah, it's what?
I said, and I grew up in a house south of Seattle.
And it did not have air conditioning.
Yeah.
So.
Neither did ours.
Anyway, yeehaw.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Rudy Giuliani for a minute. So Rudy's saying he thought he'd been shot. Yeah, right. You can't even tell a competent lie, right? And he must have known by this time there was video which says he wasn't in any way injured. He was mildly surprised and probably offended. But by comparison, the police shoved a young woman carrying her baby. Bad enough that she stumbled 8 or 10 steps and fell down.
Oh yeah, not just anybody. It was Jodie Sweetin from Full House. So
well, hopefully she's got the money.
Household name, okay? That they decided
if they're willing to
would be
do
a
it
great
to her,
idea to
the
push her to the ground.
They were doing it to her. All they saw was a blonde chick with a kid.
No, but hopefully she's got enough money to go after him.
Yeah.
So, because again, that kind of a show.
Yeah.
No, she should be filing suit. Right? This is not a legitimate cop thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is a physical assault.
Yeah.
Oh, they pushed her hard.
Yes.
I watched the video. It's very disturbing.
Yeah, no, this is what an untrained rebel does.
Yeah. So again, another example of a police riot. So, and then Rudy Giuliani is just another example of a liar who's desperate to be famous for another 12 seconds.
Did you see the thing about confusing fluency of language with fluency of thought?
I did.
So, which explains the Google kid thinking it's talking to a real human.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, you're probably right.
Since that doesn't have any recollection of its conversation with you,
Yep.
it can't be. We're not splitting that hair. We have to stop talking about computers pretty much as a species.
Yeah.
Because the idea of creating a life that can't remember,
Yeah.
that's wrong.
Oh wait, there was a movie about that.
In Lynchburg, Virginia, the words, "If abortion ain't safe, you ain't safe," were spray painted near
Yes.
the entrance of the Blue Ridge Pregnancy Center. There's photos from security cameras.
Oh, the right is gonna just howl about that.
It's in this one.
And we'll point out that we've got
Finish a
idiots wandering around talking about killing all LGBTQ folks. Fuck them.
Security camera
Thin-skinned
footage
little
shows
boys.
4 masked individuals committing the acts. So, you're never going to find these people. If they had masks on, you're
Well,
fucked.
and absent any evidence, you don't know whether it was a false flag operation or something that the left did. But this would be the ideal false flag operation for the right, so they could claim there'd been threats made.
Oh, it's like how a lot of the police riots started were because people mixed in with the crowd and started the fight. Like
Yeah.
literally a handful of people started breaking windows.
Some of whom have been prosecuted and sent to prison for that.
Yeah.
So that was the good news. Get the videos. When you've got somebody in your left-wing group that's protesting who's acting like he wants to start a fight with the cops,
there was at
get
least
the video.
There was at least 10 protests planned today. Over the weekend, there was dozens and dozens of
Yeah.
protests. All of them were, for the most part, peaceful. Only a handful of people have been arrested. Phoenix, Arizona, I believe, had, I think that was the state house that was surrounded. And, they were like, "Oh my God, we're trapped." Meh, meh, meh. So the
Yeah.
cops fired
Pepper
tear
balls.
gas to disperse the crowd. Whatever.
Yep.
They weren't.
Again,
They took down the fencing and everybody panicked.
Yeah.
They're gonna do an insurrection on the state house.
No,
sure.
no. You got it all wrong. It was
Whatever.
your guys who do insurrections. So, whine away. We
don't
actually
care.
find that amusing.
No, this is something that I would not care if somebody if somebody broke into a state house to complain about this. I would be on their side. Good for them.
Do not encourage violence on the internet.
I didn't encourage it. I said if people did this thing, I would not be against it. I'm not saying they should do it. Not once have I ever on this show stated that people should do bad things.
It's a criminal indifference.
Pretty
Yeah,
much,
something.
chaotic evil, I believe. Chaotic neutral, I believe, is the term. I'll have to look it up. But anyway. No, this is just, again, nothing's been going wrong with these protests. They're doing it right. The problem is, media, you aren't covering it. When I search for news and I don't see at least one story about protests, and I literally have to search protests to get the stories, that's a problem. This needs to be front page everywhere. So fucking talk about it, dum-dums.
Yep. Well, again, they were part and parcel of the environment that got rid of Roe v. Wade with their false equivalencies and their, there are two sides to this argument. No.
No,
There's
and
one
all that
side to
bullshit.
this argument and a
Right.
collection of just a word salad.
Yep.
No, and
So-
that bullshit.
And
that
the
used to
bombings.
push
And
it.
the murders. And
People
Yep.
wanted this and that there was some sort of a debate to be had. There's no debate to be had. You are allowed to your religious freedom, and I'm allowed to mine, or lack thereof. Fuck off.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to make laws based on your religious belief in this country. I mean, you
Sadly-
do all the time,
Yeah.
but you're not supposed
That's
to.
about to be the discussion we're gonna have.
Yep. Well, again, they are the religious police, the American Taliban.
Anybody want to know a fun thing?
Oh, sure.
Oh, God.
You know, the witness is gonna be tomorrow.
Oh,
What?
Cassidy Hutchins, former Mark Meadows White House aide.
Huh.
oh,
I wonder
So-
what she's got to say.
I don't know, but the reason that they were being secretive about it is there's credible threats to her safety. So
Interesting.
Hmm.
All right, so that'll be exciting tomorrow for the next
Yeah.
January 6th
if it
hearing.
turns out to be true, but
And we will, of course, watch that and, of course,
Let you know what's
tell
going
you
on.
about it.
we'll have opinions, I promise.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
We will definitely have opinions. We always do.
well, that's what we do.
Indeed.
That's part of our job.
What sets us apart from other millennial talk shows? We all have opinions, not just the millennial. So,
And personalities versus diagnoses.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, heart, rock, follow, review, smash that like button on YouTube. Go to BoomerRexTonight. No spaces on Facebook for fun memes. And a link to our Patreon. Give us $1. You can also go to patreon.com now and find us if you search for us.
All
So
right.
that's awesome. That's a big step in the right direction for us. So please do that. You can find us on YouTube as BoomerRex, or check your favorite podcasting service for BoomerRexTonight. We can be found on over a dozen different platforms, including Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Samsung Podcasts. Hit us up on Twitter at BRexTonight. And if you Google BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, all links will lead you to us. I haven't checked that in a while. I should double check that.
It is
but,
true.
Oh, cool. It is still true. Amazing.
well, I meant to check it the other night.
Yeah, I try to check it pretty regularly, but I've been lazy about
Yeah.
it because every time I look, it's still the same. So,
Excellent.
we love you all, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night with coverage of the next January 6th insurrection hearings. We love you all.
And good night to our favorite subscriber.
Bye.
Good night, all.